We knew we wanted to move, we weren't sure where. And after a long scouting trip, we ended up going back to the US a little discouraged. Then we found Albania. This is the story of how we got there and then decided to make our lives here. In December 2023, we left the USA on a 3-month scouting trip. We had pretty much at that point decided that Malta was our best option.
I mean, it seemed like there was a viable path to long-term residency, to be in the EU. We liked the Mediterranean climate. We wanted a different change of pace from landlocked Missouri.
I think English speaking was also a big appeal of Malta. And as Sam said, I wanted some of that ocean life, living amongst the sea, being able to wake up to that blue, beautiful landscape every single day, as opposed to the farm fields in Missouri. So Malta was the initial thought that we wanted to go to. So we decided to spend about a month there, but we kind of quickly realized Malta wasn't the place for us.
Was that before or after the airport?
What?
When you crashed the car at the airport.
Let's talk about Portugal. It was the first country we stopped in.
Yeah, I think when we were planning this initial scouting trip, Spencer really wanted to get to Malta. Like, he had made up his mind. That's where we were going to live. So we didn't spend much time in Portugal. It was convenient to fly there. So we decided, why not spend a few days? We spent a week and a half. And Spencer wanted to stay. It was awesome. We had a great time. I think the main reason we didn't go down a path with Portugal, the paperwork was overwhelming. At the time, it seemed like we had to leave a lot of money setting in a Portuguese bank account before we could even spend time in the country. So that didn't feel great, and we decided to keep exploring, keep looking.
I felt a great sense of accomplishment in landing in Malta. I quickly realized that I might have made a wrong choice. Nothing against Malta at all, but Malta is a very dense place. It's a pretty small island. Corfu, the Greek island right next to us, is like 2 or 3 times the size of Malta, and yet Malta has 500,000 people on it.
It is beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning, but it really just did not feel like the home that we had hoped for. It didn't feel like the Mediterranean paradise that we had dreamed of. And after staying there for a month, it really kind of confirmed that wasn't for us.
So then we went to Italy. We spent, 2 weeks just kind of traveling through Italy. It was never on the top of our list, but it was certainly a consideration. Ultimately, I think we really like Italy. Don't get me wrong, but it's not something we ever pursued really any further in terms of the viability of digital nomad visas or how to live there.
It just seemed like there were a lot of hoops to jump through. And also, it seemed like a traditional path, and we wanted something that was a little bit more non-traditional.
So we went to Spain.
Yeah, we went to Spain, and then we went to the UK for about a week. We experienced London and down south, the coastal city of Brighton. And then we went back to the US. It felt disappointing that I hadn't really found any place that I wanted to call home yet.
We didn't feel like we found home, but at the same time, we knew that where we were wasn't right.
Absolutely. Going back home to Kansas City didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like another place I didn't really want to be.
There were lots of great things in a lot of the places we spent time, and we knew we wanted to spend more time in Europe. So we were going home to kind of reset, retool, figure out what we wanted to do. And frankly, I think it wasn't like a week or 2 after we got home, we started researching again. Like, okay, where might we go? And we'd seen information about Albania. I think we did seriously talk about it in that first scouting trip, but it really just logistically didn't make sense with the time that we had. So that rapidly went to the top of our list. And I think the thing that really solidified it, at least for me, was the ability to stay for a year and apply for residency within the country. So we could pick up and move, and we had 12 months to kind of figure it out.
That was absolutely the part that was most appealing to us, was the ability to try it, to decide if we liked it, and then move on from there, as opposed to a lot of these other digital nomad or golden visa programs which require you to make your decision and do a significant amount of effort ahead of time in your home country before even setting foot on soil. And even then, it's not a guarantee. Albania was unique just for Americans in that you can arrive, stay for up to 12 months, explore the country, explore the region, explore life in the Balkans, and see if it's for you. Because for a lot of people, it's not going to be for you, and that's totally okay. But the ability to arrive and decide, as opposed to commit and then see if we like it, was appealing to us.
I think it was also really important. You can work remotely here on that 12-month visa-free stay as an American. So I could keep my job. That kept some level of stability in our transition. And after we kind of covered those two important things, how are we going to make money and can we stay there for a long enough period of time to get a feel for the place, we just said, all right, we're going to do it. And we called our realtor.
What was fascinating to me was how we decided to come here sight unseen, relying purely on the dream, the knowledge that we could figure it out, and a lot of other creators that we'd seen on YouTube, blogs, a little bit of ChatGPT, although it wasn't super popular at the time. What was really important to us was urgency. We didn't want to spend another year watching house hunters trying to decide where we might go. We didn't want living abroad or living in Europe to continue to be a dream. We wanted to make it a reality as quickly as possible. And Albania really enabled that by allowing us to move someplace without having to do a whole lot of administrative prep work ahead of time.
For me, it was realizing I didn't have to spend a whole nother season doing gardening and yard work. Like, we could just sell our house and go. That was really a game changer. And then we've been here a year now, and I'm certainly not regretting the decision.
I think you have to be committed, and Albania is a good option if you want to move fast. There's a lot about Albania that I've discovered that I absolutely love, that I would say would be my reasons for choosing Albania over competitor countries. Things like the culture, things like the dynamic growth, things like the hospitality. But to be honest, those were not knowledge that I had before deciding to move here.
I guess I would maybe only add, we found really kind, helpful people along the way on expat groups like Saranda Expats and Expats in Albania that were willing to answer our questions, that were willing to say, yes, this is how this works. As soon as we got here, we then met people who helped us along the way again. They said, hey, this is the attorney I used. This worked really smoothly. They helped us connect with our landlord.
Absolutely. I've made more friends in this past year than since I was back in school. It's been really fascinating the way that having so many people traveling and makes them more open to connection and makes it easier to make connections with like-minded people doing similar things. After being here for a year, I can definitely say Albania was the right decision for us. I love this country. It is the most beautiful country I've ever been to. Every single day I wake up, I am grateful that we made this decision.
I think Albania exceeded my expectations in a lot of ways. The people are incredibly friendly. The infrastructure is rapidly developing. Things change at a pace here that's almost inconceivable as an American. The population as a whole, I think, is in a very progressive growth mindset. How can I build a business in Albania? What can I do with my life? How can I help the country? How can I develop the economy further? How can I integrate into society? Like, there's a ton of opportunity here. We as Americans have a huge amount of skill sets that are frankly lacking in this area. So once you get on the ground, you can really see how you can contribute, where you can bring value to whatever city, whatever community you're in.
I agree. And I think the speed of change is absolutely phenomenal to see here. If you look at photos of Saranda from 2007, or even from earlier than that, you'll notice that it's just really a hillside. Most of the development that you see here has been within the last 20 years. All of the roads in Saranda are new in the last 5 or so years. They put in nice cobblestone streets that have really slowed down traffic and made things better for pedestrians, while simultaneously building new pathways through the mountains near Vlora and through the mountains between Saranda and Gjirokastër that have made transit dramatically faster. Things are changing at such a fast pace here. It's incredible to be a part of this. In Kansas City, they're still talking about whether or not to build a new stadium for the Chiefs or the Royals. I still tune into the Kansas City news. I cannot believe they're still talking about this 3 or 4 years later as the top news story any given week, whether or not there's some deal but for a new stadium for the Chiefs and the Royals. In Albania, it would have been done by now, or it wouldn't have been done at all. And I think that it's just so fantastic to be in a place that has a mindset for growth and change and a mindset of opportunity, as opposed to one that is more stagnated. Albania also provides unique advantages in terms of its access to the rest of Europe. Flights from Tirana to basically everywhere are really affordable. And as an American with your Schengen visa, you can have visa-free access to the rest of the EU for any 90 out of 180 days. That's nice if you have your home base here in Albania, because if you want to go spend a month in Greece, you can, but then you can come back here and you can reset your days. If you want to spend the summer in Italy, you can, and then you can come back to Albania and enjoy a nice peaceful winter. It means you don't have to fly back home to America all the time. A lot of the travelers that we meet initially discovered Albania as part of their Schengen shuffle. They were already over here in Europe. They needed to go somewhere for 90 days in order to continue to be legal, and they fell in love with the place. It's nice and advantageous in that way to be able to access the rest of what this continent has to offer.
It really happens all of the time. There are so many expats that just kind of stumble into Albania. It's been awesome to meet all of these people and see really how many of them are like, all right, this is a place I could live. I do want to spend a majority of my time here. That leads to a lot of people who actually end up not applying for residency in Albania. They just plan to leave for the summer, which is an option that you can take currently because Albania is not a member of the EU. And Americans have the special 12-month visa-free privileges. Essentially, you can stay in the country for an entire year, and then you have to be out for 90 days.
Albania is a member candidate to the European Union. They are actively changing the government and pursuing EU membership. They are rapidly changing things to better align with the EU principles of good governance. Our recommendation, if you're serious about Albania, would be to get your permanent residency as soon as possible. A, because this type of 12-month visa would likely not be allowed if Albania was ascended to the European Union. And B, because it is an easy path if you think that Albania will succeed in their goal, which I'd say more likely than not they will. It's an easy path to having EU residency if you're thinking more longer term.
Because during your first residency application as an American, you can apply to receive a 5-year residency permit. So if you get your residency permit now, the next time you renew, it might be permanent residency in the EU, which would be very cool. Obviously, that's not guaranteed, but it seems fairly likely.
We'll see what happens. They're working at it.
So I hope this video helped you understand our decision behind why we moved to Albania. I hope it gave you some information to think about. This is something you can do. Follow us on social if you want to follow our journey.
Reach out with any questions that you might have. We are always responding to comments and are curious to help guide anybody on their journey of leaving the USA or wherever you're located and moving here to Albania. If I can ask you to take anything away from this video, it'd be that you can do it. Albania makes it really simple and easy, and it's a wonderful place where you can actually enjoy life.
It's very welcoming here.